One. Hey everyone, we're back. Second part of episode 10, the Brothers of Broad Street podcast. Nick Newtoss still here with us, and Bryce Ellig, as always, is alongside me, Jim Croger. What we're going to get into now at this segment is we're going to discuss the greatest shortstops of all time. And how we're going to plan this out is Newt's going to give his first, Bryce is going to give his first, and then I'm going to give my first. We're going to stack them up, see where they line up, and we're going to go all the way. We're going to do top three shortstops. And we're just going to see how these guys match up against each other when it comes to statistics, overall play, the teams they were on, and any other ideas and thoughts we have concerning these guys. So Newt, to start off, your top one shortstop.
So I was looking at it, and I won't be biased and just go with Jeter. I think my undisputed number one shortstop of all time has to be Honus Wagner.
Okay.
I don't think it's that close. I think his WAR, I mean, he played way back, but his WAR is just ridiculous. Probably like top five.
I actually got
it.
I don't even have it right here.
Didn't hit for power, but just ridiculous.
Yeah, I could build off of your thing. Bryce, I want to hear who you got ranked first all time.
I agree with Newt. This is rare. Me and Newt agreeing on something. Got to go with number one. He's a legend. He played forever. He played like 20-something seasons. He was a legend. I think it also helps the fact that he's got the most famous baseball card of all time. That's worth like $7 million. Also crazy flex. But yeah, there's no denying his greatness. He was an unbelievable player. He got on base. He was a great fielder. And, he's like, he's one of those guys that's, people that really love baseball. His name is mentioned. His name is always brought up as, that top people want to build an all-time team and stuff. He's usually the shortstop.
Wow. Well, listen, I got to disagree with both of you guys, and it might shock you who I think is the greatest shortstop of all time. And in my opinion, the greatest shortstop of all time is Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, on the Rangers, dude, he's a stud.
I like to take a lot. Jim.
Rangers and Mariners. I mean, if you guys look back, I'll pull up his stats in a minute. This dude.
Home runs, dude.
This dude was 100% the best shortstop of all time. Look at this.
Yeah, wait, Jim, can I make a point real quick, though? Do you know how many hits Honus Wagner has?
I got it right here. 3,430 hits career.
That's unreal. It doesn't matter what era you play in. That's unbelievable.
I know. Yo, A-Rod's in the 3,000 hits club, too.
The guy batted 328 for his career.
It was more than that.
A-Rod batted 295 for his career. Honus Wagner only got 101 home runs.
Yeah, dude. But
know your game.
Shortstop is a power position.
Yeah, you're not expecting home runs.
That's why he was a third baseman for the New York Yankees. One, because Jeter's at shortstop, and two, because that guy hits nukes. You don't want him at shortstop. You need a high average at shortstop. You got to play.
That's what I'm saying. He was the whole package shortstop. He was the greatest shortstop statistically. What
did he bat in that stretch? Do you have it?
I got it right. I'll pull it up right now.
Let me hear the stats.
Yeah, I got the stats for you. Don't worry. I got the stats for you. Give me 1 second. Pulling these suckers up.
Go Sixers, Bryce.
Give me one.
Just in case you forgot that Trae Young did that to you.
You're the worst, dude.
Yeah.
You really are the worst.
Pop boy.
You really are the worst.
I'm gonna pull out my phone real quick. My computer's giving me some problems, but right here, I'll give you guys just real quick glance with him and the Rangers because this was absurd.
This is when the needle was fresh in the butt.
I mean, if as fresh as it gets. He was on that horse tranquilizer.
This guy just had 60 nukes. They just couldn't figure him out.
All right, with the Rangers, just for home runs, in his first season he had 52. His second season he had 57, and his third season he had 47. He's a shortstop. You want to talk about change the game, change the position? This man changed the position. And average. You guys want to get average for those 3 seasons?
240.
318. 300, 298. This dude was a machine.
I know, but you got to think, Jim. You got to go and you got to think. Like, I mean, it's you got to give it. Like, it's part of everything. Is his legacy is so tarnished.
I was at A-Rod's 500th home run game when I saw him hit it. That guy's got a special place in my heart. I don't care.
I
He had a couple
understand. No, I
fucking-
listen, and I'm for guys like him getting in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire. I think they should be Hall of Famers. But I mean, it's just the other stuff he did. I mean, he was just not a good dude. Like, if you just like,
Yeah. I had a hot take today. I said,
All right, are we doing like a little sad story here for him? Like, are we talking personal? Or are we talking on field? 'Cause I'm talking on field right now. What are we
that's
doing?
what I'm saying. But that's part of legacy.
But allow pitchers to use pine tar and stop steroid testing the hitters. Just
Listen,
let it rip.
I love that take. Love it.
All right, back to A-Rod.
No, and I'll actually build off of this. Bryce, we could talk about how he used steroids, and yes, it is cheating. But in that era, if all the batters were using steroids, A-Rod got caught. Everybody around the league, pitchers included, were using steroids. So the level of everybody, it was all raised. So A-Rod with steroids, the pitcher that he was facing was definitely taking steroids, and he was just that much better than everyone who he was facing.
But that's not fair. I'm not every single player in the MLB was on steroids. That's just not true.
But what I'm trying.
Here's my thing. Go ahead.
No. You mean to tell me that A-Rod?
Newt's the guest. Let him talk. We want to hear Newt.
Listen, the stats were undeniably like ridiculous, like unheard of.
You can't be
as in our last segment, Babe Ruth was our number one because of reputation, and he was a Yankee. He was the guy. It was the house that Ruth built. I don't look at A-Rod during his 7-year stretch as a shortstop to be like one of the best shortstops of all time.
Newt is a seasoned pro.
Shortstop in seasons, but overall as a player, I think he was just a scumbag.
Newt, absolutely amazing take. You are a seasoned pro, my friend. Seasoned pro.
Yeah,
he's 1000% right. I agree with his point. Like, I just don't think you look at Derek Jeter as like a shortstop. Some people don't even realize he played shortstop. I know that sounds crazy, but
who, A-Rod are we talking or Derek? Who talking?
He meant Alex Rodriguez.
My bad, Alex Rodriguez. I mean, I bet you most people
up on Jeter.
I bet
people forget of his time with the Mariners and the Rangers, but that's what got him such a huge payday, the largest at the time in MLB history.
Cash god.
This guy in one season recorded close to 4,200 outs. He wasn't making mistakes at shortstop. He wasn't.
Great fielder.
Everything denying that.
He's the greatest shortstop of all time. Alex Rodriguez, by far, is the greatest shortstop of all time.
I'm going to disagree.
I'm going to disagree with that as well.
So we know, all right. So we know you're number 2, Jimmy.
Number 2, I got Honas.
Okay.
All right.
Unless you guys want to keep talking about that one, but
no, I do. I mean, I got Honas Wider. 328 batting average, like you guys said, you can't deny.
One of those guys. He's one of those guys you don't really have to get into. It is like you just got to put him there.
I was saying with A-Rod, if you want to stay on that, but I figured.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, he was the first shortstop to join the 3,000 hits club and recorded 3,400 hits. That's unheard of. 1,700 RBIs. I mean, the dude was a stud. Like Bryce, like you said. I mean, just to talk about his value. I mean, the guy's got the richest baseball card in the entire history of the game.
He's a relevant guy. People know who that guy is. People know who he is.
When you think of baseball, I mean, he's there.
If you're a legit baseball guy, if you like baseball, you know who Honus Wagner is. He's been probably dead for
That's how you pick him out. He's not a renowned name. He doesn't have a stamp on the name to like a common baseball.
If you think about it, he played for
Honus Wagner.
He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates, which we can all agree is not a very relevant franchise. They're just not. And he's able
playing for New York.
Yeah, he's able to be relevant. That says something about him.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the first 5 players inducted to the Hall of Fame, 1936.
Huge flex.
That's big time. No, I mean that adds to the resume 100%.
No, that is, especially because the Baseball Hall of Fame is no joke. It is very hard to get into. There's multiple great players that are, could be Hall of Famers that aren't going to be in the Hall of Fame in baseball. It's crazy.
Sidebar, who's the scumbag who didn't vote Jeter in unanimously?
We're going to get into that. That's crazy, right?
It was me.
All right.
Isn't that crazy?
That guy should die.
No, yeah, that's terrible. I would vote him definitely. That's
But I mean, he may have a point. He might agree with Bryce Ellick and his points coming up. But all right, so I got
That's a problem. That guy was Bryce Young. That's who Bryce.
No, I would definitely vote him in first ballot. I'm not that bad.
I got. So I have A-Rod at 1. I got Hannes Wagner at 2. Newt, who do you have at 2?
All right, so here's where I'm torn.
Oh, he's torn. He's
I
torn.
wanna give it to. I can't give it to him yet. I still don't think he's the second best shortstop.
Yes, Newt. Yes.
I think you gotta go with Cal.
No, he didn't.
I think I'm gonna go Cal Ripken Jr. at number 2.
Oh, that's early. That's way too early.
You gotta think about it. He batted 276, which stinks, and then it goes against my whole point of having a good batting average.
Rounded into the most double plays in MLB history.
The guy had a 95 WAR and had 431 home runs.
Okay. He also holds the record for most consecutive games played.
Yeah, I mean the guy was just reliable. He's like
at the shortstop position. That's hard to do.
There's a league named Cal Ripken. Like he's the guy.
The best availability is durability.
That's right.
Yo, right there. Bryce, who do you got it to for your shortstop?
Kind of take it back on my word, and I know this is kind of crazy. I got to agree with Jim. I got to go A-Rod at 2. I got to. I have to. I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, it is. I mean, we're big baseball guys, so I knew, he was.
The stats are undeniable.
It's undeniable, and you got to call a spade a spade. The guy was unreal. I just think the thing that really kills him is not even the steroids. I think it's just his personality. Like, I mean, there's not a single person. There's so many people to this day that still hate that man.
He's changed though. He's changed.
There's still.
You know, in J-Lo or some shit.
He cheated on.
So you are leaving. Your deciding factor was A-Rod's personality. Kind of
no. He's number 2. He's firm number 2. I just think.
All right. I just want to clarify that. I want to make sure.
I'm saying it hurts for me.
That's not even a number 3.
Whoa. Nude, who do you got at 3?
Jeter. Here's my thing with A-Rod. I don't look at A-Rod and say that's a shortstop.
Okay. Yeah, with
like,
personal opinion.
No, I like that. I like that take a lot, dude.
I think Jeter at 3. I mean, the guy's got 5 rings. He wins. He has the hits. He's clutch. He's got ice in his veins.
Yo, personal preference.
You can't deny. Yeah.
Bryce, who do you got at 3?
Early for some people, but I think that's my guy at 3.
All right, so Newt, I just want to recap real quick. You got Hannes Wagner at 1, Cal Ripken Jr. at 2, and Derek Jeter at 3.
Yeah.
Bryce, who do you got at 3? Great shortstop.
At 3, and this is a sleeper, and I'm not just going off of like what I see is whatever, but I'm going Ernie Banks. Very
between him and Jeter for 3.
I mean, that's a very underrated guy. Not a lot of people talk about it. Obviously, we all know about the Cubs struggle. It took them 100+ years to win a World Series, but he was Mr. Cub, and the Cubs are a very, very relevant franchise. Win, lose, anything, they are one of the 5 most relevant teams. When you think MLB history, the Chicago Cubs, they come up very quickly right behind the Red Sox and the Yankees. They do. And he was the face of the Cubs. Yeah, I mean, he was the face of the Cubs for 25 years. I mean, you got to give him that. He was an unbelievable player. He was very loved. Not a lot, like the opposite pretty much of A-Rod. Like, he was loved, but everyone, loved to watch him. He made the Cubs relevant, and
512 bombs too.
Yeah, that's another thing like that. I know his average isn't spectacular. I don't believe
74. I mean, it's nothing to laugh about.
He's a 14-time All-Star, and he's a 2-time MVP. Especially back then when there was a lot of really, really good players. He played for the Cubs and just the Cubs, which I always kind of value people that only play for one franchise a little more than everybody else. It's kind of what hurts A-Rod also is he's played for a lot of teams, but he played from 1953 to 1971 with the Cubs. I mean, that's a legacy. And literally it says here when I looked him up, everybody loves Ernie Banks. Like literally, that's what it says. The first sentence, everybody loves Ernie Banks. So I got to go with him at number 3, no doubt.
All right, to recap, Bryce's top 3. He's got Hannes Wagner at 1. He's got A-Rod at 2. And he's got Ernie Banks at 3. For me, I have Derek Jeter at 3. When you look at the numbers, talking about, it's a shame that he didn't get the unanimous Hall of Fame vote. but he did get 99.75 percentage of the ballot. And then, listen, this guy at 22 years old won the Rookie of the Year, and then 2 years later, the Yankees are winning a World Series. So when you just talk about the significance that he had on that team, and when you look at his statistics, he's got a 72.4 wins above replacement. He's got 1,300 RBIs, 14 All-Star appearances. And listen, he's not known for his, a lot of people hate on his fielding. This guy does have 5 Gold Gloves. So, I mean, how bad of a fielder can he be with 5 Gold Gloves? So,
he's the worst. Not how bad. He's the worst.
Oh, right.
Dude, you can't deny the 5 Gold Gloves. He also, on the other side, on the offensive side, 5-time Silver Slugger. I mean, this guy every single time. I know he wasn't a power hitter or anything like that, but he was stepping up. He was getting singles and doubles, and he was always on base. And I got Mr. November, top 3. So my recap: I got A-Rod at 1, Honus Wagner at 2, and Derek Jeter at 3.
Yeah, 260 bombs.
Hey, it's nothing to shy
That's
about.
not bad. That's not bad at all for Derek Jeter. He's not a home run guy. That's a great stat for him.
I mean,
I call it how I see it. That's a really good stat for him. But the one stat that jumps to my eyes, I want to make a point. Just a quick point. The one stat that jumps to my eyes. Newt, you mentioned Cal Ripken. I mentioned Ernie Banks. Jim, you mentioned Alex Rodriguez. I mentioned Honus Wagner. What do they all have in common that Derek Jeter doesn't?
Derek Jeter has 400 stolen bases.
No, Derek Jeter doesn't have an MVP. I'm just saying, doesn't have an MVP.
Derek Jeter has 358 stolen bases.
Right. Bryce, you know who does have an MVP though? Number 11, Jimmy Rollins, baby.
Jimmy Rollins, baby.
Jimmy Rollins has an MVP. Come on, Newt, where you at?
Is that not relevant in this conversation? To not have an MVP is just, that's crazy. You want to call him the best shortstop? Some people want to call him the best shortstop ever. He doesn't even have an MVP.
Yeah, but what those guys don't have is a World Series MVP.
Very true.
So, we can go back and forth. I mean, this guy had an all-star season in playoff games. I mean, this guy played 158 playoff games. Now, granted, with the organization he was with, he was much better off than a player like Ernie Banks, because Ernie Banks was with the Cubs. They struggled for years, decades, a century. And Derek Jeter was with those great Yankee teams. But this dude, he recorded more hits than Honus Wagner. He had 3,465, 35 more hits than Honus. I mean, it's not a lot.
150 more bombs.
Yeah. I mean, this dude his average is a little bit lower, but I think Derek Jeter's a better offensive hitter than Honus is. I do. I mean, personally, when you look at his stats, I don't
know about that one. Just saying, just don't know about that.
He's got 158 more home run,
Yeah, but you got to get Honus Wagner played in stadiums that were like 700 feet.
Yeah, the parks are big.
It was like impossible to.
Listen, I mean, we can go on. We could just keep talking.
Let's get into 4. Let's see who Newt's got at 4.
Ernie Banks is my number 4 because I was going between him and Jeter for 3 and 4. We kind of already talked about him.
Yeah, Bryce, I agree with the stat you brought up with Ernie Banks. I got him at 4.
Okay, who I have at 4, and listen, I call it how it is. Derek Jeter's the 4th best catcher, or 4th best shortstop, no doubt whatsoever.
You call it how it is. He's playing catcher. That's good.
You would think with the way he fielded at shortstop. But, no, there's no denying him. That guy's got 5 World Series rings. He's played for the Yankees. He's World Series MVP. His stats don't lie. I mean, he's definitely the 4th best. I give him the nod over Cal because I actually think Cal Ripken Jr. is also an extremely overrated baseball player as well. But I got to give it over there. I'm giving him the nod slightly, just slightly. I mean, like it's like
what about the WAR, Bryce?
It's not just about that, Newt.
It's not just about that. It's a big deal. This guy almost has 100 WAR.
Okay. Can I make a point? The reason why I can't give it to Cal Ripken is because first off, he batted .276 for his career. That's just not very good for a guy like that.
Yeah, but
it's not bad.
You make up for it. It's not bad, and you make up for
Yeah.
431 home runs.
The guy has grounded out into 350 double plays.
What are you gonna do?
It's bad. It's just bad baseball there.
Sometimes it's just luck of the draw.
That's why he batted 276.
Yeah. I mean, dude.
Listen, playing 13 straight years of baseball and not missing a game is unbelievable. That's where it like hurts. But I got to give it to the guy with more rings. Rings matter more to me than being the
I'm
Iron Man.
not saying to move Jeter any further back.
Jeter's 4,
number 2.
Jeter's 4, and Cal Ripken's 5. That's my list, and I'm sticking firm to it. I feel good about it.
I got Cal Ripken at 5, but I don't hate on Cal.
Also, you got to say the Baltimore Orioles. They're not like a super relevant franchise. The New York Yankees are the New York Yankees. It matters.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm trying to see.
I feel like you're really picking on these shortstops tonight, Bryce. Between Derek Jeter and Cal Ripken, you're really breaking them down. But I mean, Cal Ripken was an All-Star 19 times. He played 21 seasons. I mean, check out that percentage.
I'm not denying. I think he's an unbelievable player. I just think he's a tad bit overrated. Not nearly as overrated as Derek.
Bryce. All right.
And if you want to talk about MVPs, Cal Ripken's got 2 of them.
2 of them, yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think he was a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong. I just think he's a little bit overrated. I think Derek Jeter is extremely overrated.
Oh my God.
Extremely overrated. I think Cal Ripken is just a little bit overrated.
Derek Jeter is overrated. Why? Because of his fielding? Is that your knock against him?
No, I also just think Derek Jeter was never like, if you think about it in the league, he was never like a top 5 player. Really think about it. He was never a top 5 guy. There was plenty of better baseball players than Derek Jeter. Like when you think about Ernie Banks, he was one of, if not the best player. Alex Rodriguez, everyone hated him, but he was the top 2 player, if not 1. And same thing, Honus Wagner was the top player. All these guys are top players. Cal Ripken Jr. was probably in that mix, but Derek Jeter was never that. Like, you know what I mean? You came into a season, he never was like an MVP favorite. He just was not like an ultra like crazy, amazing superstar player when compared to like the other players at his time. I'm not saying he wasn't a superstar, he was, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. He's just wasn't a top 5 guy.
No, dude, it's a good point.
He probably wasn't even the best player on his team for the majority of the years.
Wow.
How do you feel about Robin? How do you feel about Robin Yount?
I liked him a lot, but it just Brewers.
He's my 5. He's another 3,000 hits guy.
No, very underrated. Guy.
Good. 285 batting average. I think he's a little. I think he'd be my number 5.
All right, so recap.
Who did you leave out then? Oh, Alex Rodriguez completely off the list for you, dude.
Nah, he's next. He's the 3rd baseman in my mind.
All right, I respect that.
Hey now. All right,
no. I agree. I hear where you guys are coming from, and he played a lot of years at shortstop, so I see where the case is made. But I just watched him play third base all my life, so
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, dude. So recap your top 5. You got Honus Wagner,
Cal Ripken,
Derek
Jeter,
Jeter,
Ernie,
Robin Yount, Bryce.
I like Newt's list, man.
Newt's list is solid.
I like Newt's list a lot. I like that he put Robin Yount in there because I had him like barely outside of mine too. I like Newt, man.
I mean, Cal at 2 though.
Cal at 2's high. That's a little.
Cal at 2's high. High.
That's high.
I put Derek Jeter in front of him if that was your list. I
put Derek Jeter in front of Cal too. I did.
All right, so Bryce, your recap. I got Honus Wagner at 1. I got A-Rod at 2, followed by Jeter.
No, Banks.
Followed by Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks, my bad. Then Jeter, then Ripken.
Yes, that's my list.
I got I got A-Rod, Honus, Derek, Ernie, and then I got Cal at 5. I mean, this guy, the Iron Man, 1,600 RBIs, played in 2,632 consecutive games over 21 seasons. One thing that when you look at all these shortstops, durability. I mean, these guys played for a long time that it allowed them to have such great careers, and they stayed consistent. I think that's the biggest part. I mean, all these players stayed consistent throughout the years. You know what I mean? It wasn't just up and down, high and low, fluke seasons, flash in the pans. It was none of that. I mean, you knew what you were getting at these guys every single day they showed up to the ballpark.
No, I mean, they're 20 years of straight consistency.
Out of all of them. I mean, Honus Wagner played 21 seasons. Jeter was 20. A-Rod was 21.
I think Ernie was 18 or 19.
Yeah, Cal Ripken was 21. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it, especially the eras that they played in. I mean, nowadays it's expected to play that long, kind of with all the technology and everything that you have at your disposable to have to use to help you perform better. These guys, they didn't have that.
No, definitely did not.
Um,
I like all, you know what, I like all of our lists for the most part.
I think they're very solid. I think that poses an interesting question for the fan base, because there's so many other players too. I mean, Ozzie Smith, one could make an argument.
I wanted to put him in, but his hitting stats are just not.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's not a good hitter at all.
Only 28 home runs in like 20 years. It's kind of wild to think about. Like the guy was getting literally 1 home run a season.
I think he was just electric. I don't think he was like a stud. I think he was just like
he was an
flashing
unbelievable
into the field, just unbelievable, doing backflips, getting hits,
I
doing
think he
his
was
thing.
another guy that like just everyone loved.
Yeah,
Like,
he was swaggy before swaggy was a thing in baseball.
Exactly, but there's no denying he's definitely like a top 6 or 7 shortstop.
I'd put him top 10 probably.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I really like the Robin Yao pick, dude. I had him like, I had to give the nod to Cal Ripken over him just because Cal's legacy. But Robin Yao was like my 6th guy for sure. And a really underrated guy. No one talks about him.
It's a shame. I love this guy. He's got an MVP. Jimmy Rollins. I think he's.
Oh,
Well, I'm not saying he's anywhere near top 5.
Okay.
No, but you know,
15.
What's up?
Maybe 15. I mean,
no, yeah.
One thing I will say, I think we can all agree, the shortstop position is definitely not very stacked all-time history-wise in the MLB. Like, I mean, these names aren't like crazy.
It's tough. It's tough to be a stud shortstop and put
Yeah,
up.
no, I know. It's crazy to think about. Like, you know, you don't even. Barry Larkin was a phenomenal shortstop.
Barry Larkin, that's a good name too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I was just looking because we brought Jimmy Rollins up, how he's got the MVP. His career average was 264. That's low. That is low.
He had some bad years near the end with the Dodgers. He had some bad years.
Yeah, the Dodgers. I thought he played 2 seasons with the Dodgers, but it's only got 1 recorded season on here.
He played 2 for sure. He was there for 2 years.
Yeah, maybe when they traded him, or
I know he had a very he didn't do too hot over there. An MVP though. An MVP.
And they also he played for the White Sox. He was up for 41 games with the White Sox.
That's like saying Ryan Howard played for the Braves. He was there.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't really hold it against him. I mean, but for a time, you want to talk about Jimmy Rollins was the best player in the league at one time.
He was. Well, no doubt. Newt will argue, but he was definitely.
He was. You can't deny that.
He'd like a 40 game hit streak that no one talks about. Like literally, like I'm not kidding, like a 40 game hit streak. I don't know if it maybe 40, but it was high 30s, like 37, 38. I remember watching that when I was like a kid and was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, his MVP was 2006, correct?
2006, yeah. The
Howard won it in 2007.
The year before Howard won it, yes.
Howard won it in 2007, and then Utley got beat out by Dan Uggla in 2008. That was ridiculous.
Horrible.
I heard that name in a long time.
Dan Uggla.
That's
Dan Uggla had a really long hit streak, Bryce.
Yeah, but like Chase Utley first off, Newt doesn't know about this, but we refer to Chase Utley as the GOAT.
On this episode, on this show, he's the GOAT.
We refer to him as the GOAT, and yeah, he definitely deserves that.
This episode, Jeter's the GOAT. Sorry, boys.
I'm not getting down. I can't agree with that.
Do we just sign off right now, or does he just not get the invite back?
Newt, was Chase Utley not a phenomenal player?
I mean, he gets the respect that Jeter gets in New York and Philly.
Yeah, that World Series in 2009, they couldn't get
praise Jeter. Praise in New York the way they praise Utley in Philly.
Newt, but I want a quick kind of going off take, but I want your opinion. Is it just me, or do you think it's actually embarrassing for the New York Yankees? No, like I'm being serious, to not have even been to a World Series since 2009.
I think it's tough as a fan because you look at it and it's like every year you have the team, and it's like, oh, we'll do it this year, and it's like you always fall short. So it's like every year you get your hopes so high, and then you fall short, and it's just like what the fuck just happened? And you
I
look at
just
somebody
I,
blame like
I just can't believe you really think about it. I mean, they were winning like 4 out of 5 years in decades ago, and now they can't even get there. It's crazy to think about. I mean,
yeah, I think they had a good run with Joe Girardi with probably one of the less talented teams they had while he was there. And he made a lot out of nothing. Not nothing, but out of like less than what they have. And now they have a really good team on paper. And I think Boone is just pissing it away.
yeah, I think he's got to go.
I
I was
hate
just gonna
Boone.
say,
I don't think
I
he's
wanted
good.
him going last year. I wanted him going. I hate him.
he's not where he's just not what the Yankees need for that team.
Yeah, I don't think he's a good fit as a
I
manager.
actually think if they had Girardi right now, I think they'd be really good.
That's what I'm saying. If they just gave Girardi some time and got him a good roster together, I think he would be fine. But
You know,
I think Boone's out after this year, so
For sure, because the Yankees, I mean, it looks like it's going to be nearly impossible for them to make the
I think
playoffs.
Boone's gonna go out, and I think the Yankees are just gonna spend a shit ton of money in the offseason.
well, when I look at the two teams, I mean, Phillies have a high payroll. The Yankees have a high payroll too. And I was talking with Bryce about this last night on our episode. Depending on how the Phillies and the Yankees, I think both teams are in similar positions. How they do between now and the trade deadline in July, I think that dictates the entire direction of each organization. Because say the Phillies get hot, go acquire a closer, go get a reliever at the deadline, bring somebody in to help you, strengthen that bullpen to make a run in the playoffs. Same thing with the Yankees. The Yankees are still above 500 right now, but in that division, if they put together a nice stretch at the deadline, they should go out and get a number 2 starter. They should get someone to start games, because Garrett Cole can't do it by himself.
I also
Yeah, you just need to get healthy is the problem. Severino just did whatever the hell he just did with his hamstring again.
But then,
we were throwing a no-hitter, and then he's like, all right, I'm out for 2 months.
yeah, quick question. Why wasn't Stanton playing this weekend?
he was scared.
I think he was scared. I think he was a little bit nervous. Our Philly fanatics.
He was
The
scared.
Philly fanatics scared him a little
I
bit.
think he wanted to kill the Philly fanatic in the dugout that one day.
You saw that video, right, when he smashed the helmet?
Yeah.
But anyway, Newt, I got to ask you this question before we sign off. Now, if the Yankees are still in 4th place at the trade deadline, the record might not be bad, but
Making the playoffs.
if you're Brian Cashman, do you blow it up?
Like, sell?
Do you start getting rid of guys?
What are you, crazy?
Hell
no.
I don't think I am. Bryce, you want to chime in a little bit?
Hell no.
They haven't won. They haven't won with this team.
Okay,
I'm being serious. Do you build from the bottom?
I have a question. I have a question for Newt. That kind of like not. It's like a little bit opposite of trade deadline. Newt, do you get rid of Gleyber Torres and potentially a couple other young prospects for Trevor Story?
You don't have to.
I'm just asking. Like,
Free agent.
I know, and he said he's not signing back with the Rockies, but I'm saying the Yankees have the money to pay him. He would
What are you
fit.
giving up?
I'm just saying.
Adam.
I'm saying Gleyber Torres. That's what I heard. Gleyber Torres, but the Rockies aren't interested in him because Gleyber obviously has been a little bit of a
No, it
disappointment.
doesn't matter. They can sign him in the offseason if they want, but I don't even want him. I want them to sign Corey Seager.
Like the move. Newt,
Gotta get a lefty in that lineup, dude. You gotta get a lefty.
Let's just say Newt, the Yankees could get someone really, really good. Like I don't know who's going to be available at the deadline, but I'm talking like a top guy. Would you get
at the deadline, Bryce?
Yeah, at the deadline, if the Yankees make a trade,
Like a Chris Bryant?
Yeah, would you make Jason Dominguez available?
No.
I'm just curious.
That's our pride and joy right now.
I'm just curious. Is he available?
Nah.
You don't think
Not for nothing. There's not a player in the league right
now. Nah.
I don't think so. There's not a single player you wouldn't give him.
You watch videos on him at all?
No, I wish he was a Philly.
You ever see him?
I would trade our whole team for him. Yeah.
Dude, he hits nukes, and we're 3 years older than him.
I know, yeah, but he hasn't played. He's not like playing in any I don't even know where they have him right now.
He's in the Yankees affiliate system now. He was going against live pitching the other day. He was just dropping 6 swings. Switch hitter, runs fast, plays good center field.
When do you see him coming up, Newt? When do you see him coming up?
2024 maybe.
I was gonna say 23 or 24.
The Yankees do take a long time to develop prospects. I mean, Judge didn't come up till he's 26.
This kid's like 17.
I think he just turned 18. That's why I think he's like in the affiliate system now. I think like he's like actually practicing with the
But
Yankees.
nowadays, people get caught up early, man. There's been guys that play in the league at
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto was 20, yeah.
Yeah,
Juan Soto wasn't even 21 when they won the World Series.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I could see them calling him up in like 2023.
And what's huge for him is he's also a center fielder, which is like a really, I mean, it's big.
Key position. Key position. You build up the middle.
Listen, we have Hicks. We signed Hicks for 7 years, $70 million. We pay him $10 million a year. He's been sucking recently, but it was a good year when we structured it. But
No, I like that deal for him.
Some change.
But like, Newt, that's what I'm saying though. Like, you guys just signed Garrett.
We can groom him up.
You guys just signed Garrett Cole to a big deal. This is where, like, I was talking with Bryce. We have 3 players on big contracts right now. We got Harper, Real Muto, and Wheeler. All right. I wouldn't dish out any of those guys. I think those guys stay for the core
Yeah,
next
that
couple
goes
years.
back. That goes back to your point with selling at the deadline. Is you just spent all this money for Garrett Cole. Why are you going to sell the rest of the team? You can't build around somebody you're just dishing all your money into.
Because if you keep
upset with that.
Because if you keep these guys and they keep aging and they're not winning, you're wasting Garrett Cole's prime. And he is a top pitcher in this league. He's top 3.
I think you keep Cole. I think you keep Judge. I think you keep Chapman. I think you keep
Stanton, you're keeping.
You can't get rid of him. So yeah, I mean, I love him. Everyone wants to trade him, and I love him.
I'm just saying.
I love
I'm a
Stanton.
big Stan guy too.
He absolutely killed in the playoffs.
I'm high on
That's
Stanton.
when we need hitters.
When Stanton plays, he's awesome, but that dude can't stay healthy. Same with Judge.
I think what kills the Yankees too is the fact that, and I think Newt can agree to me. Wasn't long ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, Gleyber Torres was supposed to be a Fernando Tatis. He was
He's one of my biggest disappointments.
They got him in the Chapman deal.
Yeah, I mean, he was free, so what's it hurt?
Newt bragged about that deal like, oh my God, every day.
We still have both the players. What do you mean?
I know, but I'm just saying, Gleyber Torres has definitely. I mean, he was supposed.
Cubs got a World Series out of it. It counts.
They did.
So,
even if Chapman almost blew the World Series for them, technically. But
I know, dude. I know.
Rajay Davis.
That home run was electric.
Insane.
But listen, we could continue this conversation definitely on another episode. Newt, I want to take the time to thank you for coming on.
Thanks,
of course, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Talking with Bryce and I. Newt, if you know anybody or whenever you're free again, we'd love to have you back on this show and talk sports. We could do Giants versus Eagles, and we could talk for hours on it.
Oh yeah, we can talk all day about that.
But listen, fellas, great episode tonight. Until next time, this is the 10th episode of the Brothers Broad Street Podcast.
Double digits, baby.
Please subscribe, follow, and tune in. More episodes are coming up this week. So thank you guys.
Go Birds.
Have a good one.